What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today, guys? We are here to talk about the Acolyte episode 3. I am your host, Emanuel Noisette. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming through today. I really, really do appreciate it. I do apologize for being late. Unfortunately, I just caught wind of some of that bad news. Some of y'all might have seen. I posted it. Just Marvel Blade. Oh my God. Like, yikes. But we'll talk about that on Friday. So don't worry. We will get into all of that. And I'm still going back and forth with some folks, particular folks that apparently have issues with the Acolyte. I don't know why, though. No, it seems like I've ruffled a couple feathers, or maybe people are bothered. I don't know. I honestly don't care. It's not that big of a deal for me. But we are going to talk about episode 3 today. So just in case you did not know, we will be going through spoilers. So this is your spoiler alert. If you have not seen the episode, feel free to go check it out. You had 24 hours, but go check it out if you like. Or if you don't care about spoilers, hey, chill out here, relax, because we're going to go through the whole episode. I'll give you a couple thoughts. We'll talk a couple theories. And, of course, we'll talk about how we felt about it overall. Let's see. We got a couple people in the house today. Let's give some quick shout outs. Let's see. Simba, what is going on? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Paulette, how are you? Jerome, how you doing? Mr. Mitchell, what is up? J Mart, how you doing? My man Terrence is back in the building. What is up? Johnny, what's up? Didier, how you doing? My man Eric, how's it going? Tasha, yeah. Listen, yeah, I feel you. Leandra, good to see you. Zia, the homie, how are you? Theo, what is up? Treese, good to see you. Kristen, good to see you as well. Shauna, thank you so much for making it out. Who else? I see Talented One, what's up? My man Dwight is here. Yuchi is in the building. What is up? Extraordinaire, good to see you. Tyronda, hello. Who else did I see? My man CJ and Callow and Donna. Shout out to y'all, and shout out to everybody that's joining a little bit later. Appreciate y'all coming through. Now listen, NBA finals are here, so we're gonna kind of go through this episode. Okay, we're gonna kind of go through this. Anyway, let's get through some of this here. And yes, I feel a lot of y'all pain and what some of the sentiments some of y'all are feeling. In case you was listen, I don't know if y'all was following me, but I said I was nervous how people were going to react to this third episode. I did get a chance to see this episode a little earlier, and I was like, I don't know how people it was a little, I don't know. So let's go through the episode, and then we'll talk about it. So we kick it off here 16 years earlier than the events that we already were introduced to. So this is clearly a flashback. We meet up with young Osha, and it feels like at this point she's acting like a Disney princess because but then she's also using the Force to kind of hold on to this creature that she's looking at, but then she lets it go. So clearly this is demonstrating her kind-hearted spirit. And then here comes Mae. Mae basically tapping into a dark side. And you already know it's a red flag when little kids start torturing insects and small animals. And, what was interesting here was how Osha was like, yo, Mae, you always do things like that. So this is obviously giving us more indication that Mae is a bad little kid that like to smoke cigarettes and do bad things, apparently, but she also ends up telling Osha ends up telling her that she doesn't want to do the ascension ceremony. Mae tells her, listen, you need to chill out because we gonna do it together. They repeat their rhyme that they say, and I do think that there's something interesting here with it. It goes that you are with me, I am with you, always one, but born as two. as above sits the stars, as below lies the sea. I give you you, you give me me. So I think that this is, of course, going to reflect part of the duality theme that's going on in this episode, and probably for the whole series. These two are obviously, twins. They are connected in some sort of way. Obviously, we'll go into a little bit more of that connection. But this rhyme is, I would say that it's probably one of the biggest hints of one of the mysteries behind, these twins or whatnot. So it is somewhat important. We see here Mother Coral, or I think Mother Coral. She breaks up the love fest because it's against the rules for these girls to go out after a certain point in the forest. But Osha kind of protests, and she's like, "Yo, like, I'm grown, I can do this." And Coral's like, "Nah, this is for y'all safety." And then, just like that, we see Soul is looking like Spice Adams spying on these girls from behind the tree like a whole creep. So we go further into this coven or whatnot, and this is where we meet Mother Anasai, who apparently is the leader of the people here. Coral tells the mother basically about the girls going out in the forest, and there's concern about whether the Jedi saw them or not. Now, Coral says that Mother is too lenient on the girls, and they need a firmer hand, in guiding them. And I think that this might play into something a little bit later, but we'll kind of go into it. But it is interesting that, of course, Coral is probably the much more stern, parental figure here. And she also Coral mentions that the twins are not normal children. So we go in, and Mother is teaching the girls that all living things are connected by the same thread. Now, this thread is woven through all of existence. Some people call it the Force. Some threaten to use it. They believe that if you pull this thread, it changes everything. It ties you to your destiny, and it connects you to people, one way or another through bonds and stuff. And I really like what they're doing with this, because the idea is clearly that this is a whole nother belief, culture, whatever you want to call it. And they have a completely different perspective on what the Force is. We know it as the Force, but they know it as the thread, right? But the sentiments seem to be the same. So for example, how she's saying like, well, the Force, the thread, it ties you to your destiny. You could probably say that was the case with Anakin Skywalker. If he was prophesized to be the chosen one, maybe even by the Force, well, the Force tied him to his destiny. I mean, if you want to look at connections to others, well, the Force connects Luke and Leia. I mean, obviously they're twins, but they are connected in that sense. So I did like the fact that, we see these similarities, even though they're coming from different perspectives. To me, it's refreshing. I like to see stuff like this in Star Wars, rather than the same old thing. So I like this. So she's teaching them about the Force and all, or the threads. I'm sorry, I should say the threads. And she starts to demonstrate the power of one compared to the power of two. And the ceremony that they're going to go through, the ascension, is actually going to demonstrate the power of the many. So this is, again, probably part of their core belief that the more that they are together, the more powerful they are. So, maybe while Jedi like to use the Force individually, maybe this witch coven find power in unity, right? Like in teamwork. So that is something that, again, kind of gives us more insight into what they believe and how they believe it, and how they interact with the Force. So Mother sees that the girls are getting out of line. Coral kind of gives that other parental look like, see, I told you they was bad. You better do something. Mother said, okay, y'all better sit down. Sit down. You know that look. You know when you get in trouble and you get that force push, it's time to act right. You already know what it is. So the girls are now that Mother is basically confronted them and all that, basically getting them in line. She's like, yo, your enemies ain't gonna give you no warning. You know, you gonna have to get it together, step up, and make this happen, because when y'all get older, it's not gonna be a thing. So Mother attacks them with the force, and immediately Mae is ready to confront her. But as you can see, Osha falls back. So I think what this does is it demonstrates that clearly Mae ready for that smoke. Osha, not so much. Osha's kind of like, yo, nah, not me. I'm good. But this kind of reminds me of like the first episode when Mae went after the Jedi, Carrie-Anne Moss's character, and she was like, yo, a Jedi only pulls out her weapon if she's ready to like kill somebody, right? So I think that this is meant to kind of parallel and echo the fact that obviously Osha is more Jedi-like in this case. So now we're seeing more of her personality trait here in this instance. Mother asks Osha what is going on, and Mae keeps answering for her and talking for her. And Mother, and Mae clearly seems to be like the more dominating twin in this situation. But Osha keeps expressing doubt about becoming a witch. Like, that's not what she wants to do. It's not what she wants to be. And Mae told her that, like, yo, you do want this. And Osha was like, nah, you want this. Speak for yourself. Leave me out of this. Okay. So Mother, she makes them hold hands and tells them that the ascension ceremony is about walking through fear and sacrificing yourself for the many. She said that Osha is just young and dumb, and she still got milk on her tongue. And the galaxy doesn't like women like them. There's something about these witches that people don't like. Of course, we'll get more into what that could be. But while the girls are getting their hair did, Osha tells Mae that she wants to do things on her own. Mae says that they're the same, but Osha was like, she calls out the fact that they're the only children here. And you can see the hairstylists look at each other, because it seems like Osha just said the quiet part out loud. And it is a real question. I guess this is part of the mystery. Why aren't there other children in this coven? Like that. It's very awkward to have like a town or a culture and there are no children at all. It's one thing for them not to have men. Okay, maybe it's a religious thing, whatever. Y'all ain't got no kids. How do you guys thrive? How do you survive? So I think we'll answer maybe some of that and some theories later, but it is a prevailing question right now of what's going on. Mae is completely content with being on Brendock. She don't care. She like, look, I'm good. I ain't trying to move out to the big city. I mean, big galaxy. She is cool with the little hometown that she's in right now. Whereas Osha is obviously the opposite of that. We get into the ascension ceremony. It's starting to begin. Mother says that that they are finally doing this ceremony for the very first time ever since they were exiled, hunted, and persecuted. So they were forced into hiding because some would consider their powers dark unnatural. She said that they were on the brink of extinction until they were blessed with the gift of life. Okay, so we clearly got some nuggets there, two major things. This group of witches have been exiled. They've been hunted, so people clearly don't like them because whatever they do with the thread is perceived as dark and probably threatening in some way. But I think that, and keep in mind, it doesn't really, you don't have the dark side. There is no empire right now, so it's pretty much whatever is not the way the Jedi portray it to be, because the Jedi are they're running stuff at this point when it comes to the Force, then it's clearly going to be bad. I guess you could kind of compare it to religions of the past. So like if you were the major dominating religion, well, if there was a different religion that came around, nope, that's heretical. Nope, that's evil. That's of the devil or whatever. So it seems like that's the way these witches are being treated or viewed by others. But again, the question comes up, where are the kids? Because if they've been exiled and hunted and all that, is this a way? And this, I guess I'll put this question out to y'all. Is this ascension ceremony and the fact that there are no other kids here? They said we were blessed with the gift of life. Is this a way for them to extend their lives through the kids? Now, I don't know. Maybe there's some witchcraft going on. Obviously, there's some kind. But I'm wondering, is this a way where maybe like all the souls of the witches live within the young girls? Like, is that how they carry on? I don't know, but I thought it was kind of interesting that they said that this was like a way for a gift for them in that way. So if you guys have any ideas, feel free to let me know. But they go through with the process here. They introduce the girls to the ceremony. They start doing all their little chants and everything. And as they go through, mother starts to recant the chant or the vow for Mae to take. And Mae, of course, accepts it. She gets her forehead branding, and she does accept the vow to carry on the secrets of the coven. Now, Osha, on the other hand, she like, yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, maybe kind of, what we talking about? And she reluctantly says she will, but the party is crashed. They are interrupted by the Jedi, and we do see the return of Indara, Sol, Kelnaka, and Torben, except this time he's a Padawan. And the Jedi said, like, yo, rumor is, that y'all up to something around here, but at the same time, we didn't know that y'all was here. Like, we thought this planet was uninhabited, right? And Mother was like, oh, really? The Jedi that know all this stuff, y'all didn't know we was here? Really? Okay, yeah, cap. Straight up cap. So, of course, while this is going on, Osha and Mae don't listen, and they do make their presence known. Indara says that they are concerned about the witches training children because it would go against the Republic law. And, Mama was like, hold on, wait a minute now. Brendock isn't part of the Republic. And once again, this kind of gives you more indication that the Republic and the Jedi, they are the monopoly in terms of their view of how the Force should be used or whatnot. So they have the, I guess, jurisdiction over the Force at this point. And even training Force sensitive kids is probably illegal in this case. So that's why they want to that's why they want to find out what's going on with these kids. Osha and Osha steps forward first. She meets Saul, and and then of course, as he's talking to her and asked to meet her sister, she immediately snitched on her and pointed her sister to come forward. Now, when asked about their father, Mother said they ain't got no daddy. Okay. And Saul, listen, looked like Saul was like, hold on, wait a minute. That brand on Mae's forehead, he already knew that, it wasn't there before. Now, before we go any further, the fact that they acknowledged that the twins do not have a father, right there, it already indicates that we have a current parallel going on, because the only other person in Star Wars that we know of that also doesn't have a father is Anakin Skywalker. Now, we'll get into that whole little background as well, but this is immediately starting to draw some sort of connection that might give us more information on maybe even Anakin Skywalker's origin some way, somehow. So that, let's put a pin on that for now. So Saul basically notices the branding on her forehead, and listen, it looked like he was about to set it off. That's what it looked like. But then he really was just like, nah, it ain't like that. I'm just trying to give Osha this little lightsaber. We ain't trying to do nothing crazy. But he tells the witches that the Jedi do not take children. I think this was a pretty important thing to kind of communicate, because there was an impression that they were just going to steal the children away. But Saul was like, nah, we don't steal kids. We don't do that. So he offers Osha the lightsaber, and he asks her if she would like to train to be a Jedi, and she ends up accepting. She's cool with it, and this is pretty much what she kind of wanted anyway. As this is happening, Mother then places Tobin under a mind spell and tells the Jedi to leave if they want to save their little Padawan. And Osha, on the other hand, wants to show the Jedi what she's learned. So the Jedi do ask for permission to test Mae and Osha, and they let her go. They let Tobin go, and the witches agree. Okay, we'll let you test them. It is what it is. So Mother says that the girls do need to be tested, or she agrees to let them be tested, and that Osha is old enough to kind of let this go through. Osha's old enough to make up her mind about this, but Coral, she is protesting. She don't like it. And Mother was like, hold on, wait a minute. The decision has already been made, because the last time I checked, I'm the head mother that's in charge. And Coral said, hold on now. Now you wait a minute. I carried them kids. Okay. And Mother was like, and I created those kids. And Coral said, yeah, but what's going to happen when the Jedi discovered how you created them kids? Okay, now we into another, the mystery, the plot thickens. Okay, now we into some more mess, because it's one thing to sit here and have that little connection with, the Jedi, or with Anakin. It's one thing to kind of sit here and say that, these kids don't have a father, but to talk about how they were created, this is kind of getting us into the whole situation that ended up happening with Anakin Skywalker. So the ongoing theory was that Palpatine's master, Plagueis, I forget what he was, Plagueis or whatever, Darth Plagueis, he found a way to use and manipulate the midichlorians in people's body to create life. And while the dark side was trying to create Anakin, to basically go on the dark side, and I guess it kind of reminds me of like the whole immaculate conception thing in Christianity. Like, he has a human mother, but like a divine father, I guess. Is it possible that these girls could have been created in a similar way? Is it possible that these girls, that, maybe they were the beginning of the experimentation of trying to create life in this fashion? Now, there are a lot of theories out there going around. I mean, what was it? I try to forget The Last Jedi, or not The Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi. No, what the hell is it? The last Rey movie, the one that was dumb, Rise of Skywalker, whatever. And Palpatine had talked about how there was like a diode, there was like a duality in the Force where you have Rey and Kylo Ren, and how they were basically two sides of the same coin of the Force, and it only happens after multiple generations. Maybe Mae and Osha are that other perfect diode of the Force. Maybe they are that manifestation of the Force born, or created in this case. So it seems as though this is where they're hinting at with this. And yeah, if the Jedi found out about this, they would definitely, if you thought they had a problem with them just training little kids, oh, y'all out here making kids with the Force? Oh, no. That's definitely gonna be a no for sure. So that would definitely be a problem. So now Mother does come and talk to the girls. She tells them that whatever the Jedi asked them to do in the test, just basically do the opposite so that you can intentionally fail. And that way the girls won't have to go with the Jedi at all. Now, when the girls start arguing about whether or not the Jedi are good or bad, Mother kind of steps in and says, listen, it's not about that. This is about power and who is allowed to use it. So that in itself lies probably the biggest theme of the entire show. Like I said, we learn that the Republic is here to they're the ones running the show. And we know that the Jedi are pretty much running the show with them unchecked. You know, they are the dominant power at this point. So the Jedi control everything and anything Force related. So who, you know, when the witches try to use the Force or the thread in some way, that's a violation, right? Because if it's not the Jedi way, it's clearly got to be the wrong way. These lines are not as clear cut as we think they are, maybe. And I think that's what the Mother is really trying to communicate, that like, yo, is our way really all that bad? Or is it just a power grab? Is it just, you know, the fact that they don't understand? Like, we don't know, right? We don't know, at least not yet. Now, as the girls are going forward to get tested, Osha tells Mae that she doesn't want to lie. And this is kind of where I'm like, I'm starting to kind of roll my eyes, because I'm like, yo, we get it. I mean, I think at this point, from a writing standpoint, we get it. I understand. Osha is the good twin. Mae is the bad twin. We get it. I mean, I got it earlier from the very beginning when she wanted to crush that little, you know, alien butterfly or whatever. Just, it was getting a little repetitive. That's all, just a little repetitive, you know, for my liking anyway. So we see that Osha is interested in what Kelnaka is doing, and this is probably foreshadowing of her becoming a mechneck later on. And when Mae comes out from her testing, she's smiling because she knew that she failed spectacularly. She already knew it was a bomb, and she was getting a straight F. Now, when Osha goes in, Tobin comes and he takes a blood sample. And again, this is where they get their midichlorian count to see how sensitive or strong somebody can be with the Force. We saw this introduced in Phantom Menace. Now, as the test is proceeding, Osha tries to fail, but the Jedi can basically see through it pretty easily. They recognize that she's also still attached to her family in some way. And Sol basically goes to talk to her. And he's like, yo, you know, I was just like you when I was younger. And, you know, I found a family with the other children that were training as well, you know, to be Jedi. And immediately, you know, Osha's interest became piqued because, recall, there are no children on this planet. So she got real excited with just the thought that she would be around other kids like her. So as she leaves, Osha clearly ends up passing the test. Mae does not like it. And when they go back to their mom, Mae calls out Osha in front of the other witches and stuff. And Coral claimed that Sol must have used his mind trick on Osha, but Osha denies it and said that she wants to do things her own way, and she don't want to share everything with Mae. You know, so y'all already know Mae is hurt at this point. Mother said that she can make whatever choice she wants, but she will never see them again. And this obviously, the Mae don't like it. She's, definitely hurt by this whole decision and all that. But what I like about this, I like that they didn't make Mother's character so one-dimensional, because you would think, given how strongly these witches believe in whatever it is that they're doing with these kids, you would think that Mother would be like, oh, hell no, you're dead to me, go away, and just reject Osha because, she's not falling in line. But the fact that she respected her decision, the fact that she was, I wouldn't say okay with it, but the fact that she didn't fight it, I thought was actually really compelling for her character. And of course, it's not like she liked it. I mean, you could still see this broke her heart, So I do like the fact that they made Mother's character a little bit more dynamic. That's all, just a little more layered, because she doesn't come off as a straight up villain, right? And that's kind of the thing that I think this show is trying to paint, that there is no exact clear good side or exact clear bad side. So except for Mae, apparently. Anyway, we see Osha was drawing earlier what appeared to be the Jedi symbol in her book. Mae channeled basically her pure, unadulterated hater energy and said that she's not going to leave. She's not going to let Osha leave at all. Mae grabs the lantern and sets the place on fire. Osha barely is able to escape, but she manages to get out. And as she's going out, I don't know what this is, and I like y'all opinion on this. What do y'all think was going on? Do y'all think that this was just maybe a typical power generator, or were they cooking something else up here? Was something else going on in this background? Listen, it could be a lot of different things. Maybe they had a bootleg cloning facility going on, for all we know. Or maybe that was just, a typical generator just to give that area power. I don't know. But if y'all have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. But as this is happening, we see that, the place is starting to crumble. Osha and Mae confront each other on the, on that ledge or whatnot. It's starting to go down. Everything crumbles. They're blaming each other. And Osha is about to fall. Mae falls, but Soul comes in and saves Osha at the very last moment. As they're going through, we see all the bodies of the witches. Now, is this all of them though? Because I can't really tell. But so I'm wondering. But it looks like everybody's dead. Now, my question is, how did they all just die like that? I'm just saying, they not in a fire. It doesn't look like they got smushed by some rock or something. How did they all die? That's a question. It's just a question. And as they're going, we also see that that Mother is also dead here as well, as Soul continues to pull Osha away to safety. They get back on the ship. Osha obviously survives. She's okay. And she's like freaking out about her family. Soul's like, yo, I got you. Mae started that fire, destroyed everything. But yo, you could be my Padawan if you want. And of course, right before it all ends, we see that Mae, who, pretty much you could see she survived the fire. She's all right after all. And that was episode 3. Whew. Okay. I think that was the fastest we ever went through one. So I think a couple things here. I think that I wouldn't say that this is a misdirect, but I would not be surprised if this was only one perspective of the show that we're given. It's very possible that we will see things. I think this was all through Osha's mind. I think this is maybe her memory of the events. Because keep in mind, we don't know everything that exactly happened with the Jedi, right? So the Jedi still have some part to play in this. Maybe that's an alternate perspective later. Maybe in future episodes, we'll see either Soul's perspective or maybe we'll see Mae's perspective. So I want y'all to remember, let me pull this up. We have to pull something up here because the one thing that they didn't show here, they clearly left a lot of stuff off camera. Clearly. Because let's not forget what happened with Tobin. Tobin, who was the Padawan earlier, what did he say? Please forgive me for what we did. Like, please forgive me for what I did to you. And this man was so sorry for whatever the Jedi did that we clearly did not see, that instead of confessing his crimes to the High Council, he would rather kill himself. He wanted forgiveness specifically from Mae. So clearly they did something to Mae. And he was like, nah, I don't even want to go on trial. I'm just going to kill myself because whatever we did, it was that bad. And he also said, we thought we were doing the right thing, which goes back to the whole idea of they are blurring the lines of good and bad in this case. So I want to just kind of put out this little theory for you guys first. And, again, feel free to share your own theories with this, but I'm wondering, what if, okay, like what if the Jedi did use their mind trick, but on Osha? What if Osha is the one who actually burned down her whole family and her whole, community or whatnot? Remember in the last episode when Osha had that dream about her sister Mae and how real it looked? What if we only saw everything from Osha's perspective, but it was all an illusion to her at that time? So yes, that would make Osha an unreliable narrator, but it could have been true for her. Does that make sense? Because again, when so if we go back to when Tobin apologized to Mae, the apology might have been for taking Osha away from her, and or maybe the Jedi pushed Osha into her decision rather than letting her make it naturally. Maybe. And I'm also wondering if this could be one of the reasons why the show cast two different looking girls for these twins, the identical twins that don't look identical at first. I'm wondering if they were purposely cast that way because maybe I don't know, in a future episode we will see the same thing happen, but the girls are just reversed. So the one that's holding the lantern, instead of Mae, it's actually Osha. The one that, maybe goes around and kills everybody is actually Osha. And if you think about it, this might make some sense because one, nobody would suspect Osha of doing anything. Two, I could see how the Jedi, let's say they did find out how Osha and Mae were created, and they were like, yo, this right here, these people got to go. This is evil. This is dark. They got to go. You know what? We gonna send Osha in. She gonna be our best way of taking them out. And maybe she takes them out. And that to me would be so wild of a story, mainly because maybe it's a good thing that you stop these witches from doing all this stuff, but it would definitely be bogus as hell to use their own kid to like maybe start the fire or to kill them or whatever. Either way, I think it's very clear that the Jedi do not have clean hands in this situation. And I would also argue that Soul probably has a heavy hand in this. He might have been the one doing the actual Jedi mind tricking. He's the only one we've seen so far that has no reservation to look into people's minds as well. So, even though he looks like he's the hero or whatever, Soul might be the perpetrator. And he might have decided to train Osha out of guilt. Like, we keep thinking like, oh man, he just really, cares about her and that's his Padawan. Nah, he probably like, ooh, yeah, that was really bogus. You know what? The least I can do is to train her up and maybe things will be all right. I don't know. That's my little theory about what might happen. I think that Osha, even though she's trying to look all good and stuff, she might actually be the one that's messed up. And Mae might actually be justified in coming after these Jedi to make them pay for killing her whole family. Anyway, if y'all got an alternate theory, feel free to let me know. One other thing I'll say before I get to these last questions. This episode was tough. I think it's safe to say that if you are deciding to watch this series, or if you are on the fence, or maybe you're kind of like, yo, I don't know if I should continue. I feel like there are three things that are going to make you I think there are three things that will determine whether you watch this show or finish it. Those three things are: one, you want to know the origin of these girls. You want to know what the secret is behind their creation and what's going on. Two, you want to know who's the master. You want to know who the actual dark figure is. And it could be anybody. I mean, I was thinking maybe it was Coralie or whatever, Coral. Maybe it was one of the sisters, because clearly that whole, it's a him thing. I think that's a huge misdirect. And three, so you want to know the origin of their creation. Two, you want to know who's the master. And three, you want to know what shady stuff did the Jedi do. If those three things keep your interest, or if you are interested, I think that's the only reason you stick with this show. I think those are it. If you don't care about any of those things, this show might not be for you. I'm just saying, I don't see this show being a payoff if those three questions don't make sense or they're not interesting for you. So let me grab some of these comments real quick. Let's see. Sir Shy, at the end of the day, none of this Disney is canon. What? Wait, why wouldn't this be canon? It is canon. Why wouldn't it be canon? Like, the only thing, and this was according to Dave Filoni, I believe he said the only things that are not canon are, the only things that are canon are the movies and the TV shows. So I argue with Dave Filoni. I don't know what to tell you. Didier, what you got? The last episode, we will see Darth Plagueis talking to either one of the mothers or Osha and Mae. I think that's a great idea. I think that is definitely something that could happen. And to be honest, I'd be cool with that. I would be very, very okay if we got basically the origin story of how Anakin came to be. If this is how Plagueis learned about whatever it is, if we see another dark figure in the shadows and, whatever, fine, I'll take it. So yes, I think that's a great theory. And I also think it's likely. Let's see. The Talented One, I think they transferred their spirits via the thread and will find new hosts. Also explains how they survive in general. I think that is absolutely a great idea. Keep in mind, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but it does seem as though that they are very similar to the Night Sisters. And the Night Sisters, as we've seen, they know how to play with reincarnating life, especially if you watch Clone Wars. They know how to, I wouldn't say make zombies, but, they play around with the Force in a similar way. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they call the Force a thread as well. So, you know, listen, it's a lot going on. But I'm interested in seeing where they go with it or how they tie it in. All right, guys. So this is, oh man, we made great time. This is the point where I need your help. I need you guys to let me know, what is your rating for episode 3 of The Acolyte. Give me your rating on a scale from 0 to 10. While you guys are doing that, I will go ahead and give you my thoughts. I'm going to give, first of all, shout out to Jodie TurnerSmith. She was doing some good acting, I think. I think she was doing some good acting in this. Yeah, I would be this was not a strong episode to me. Little to no action. The themes I thought were kind of overplayed a little bit. Like, this is an example of where I thought the writing did not really help, because it was too simplistic and straightforward, where they're like, no, I don't want to hurt the animal because I'm a good person and I want to be a Jedi. It was like, yo, come on. Like, how many times are you going to reflect that? Sometimes you need more subtext. In other words, you can show us without telling us. And I don't think this episode did a good job with that. This episode was just like, Osha's the good one, y'all. Mae's the bad one, y'all. Hey, by the way, Osha's the good one. It's like, all right, like, it's starting to sound, it's almost a little insulting. Almost a little insulting. So I don't think that the writing was very strong for this episode. Acting was good, at least on Jodie's part. Story, I could have done without this. I think I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. It might go lower because I don't know how this fits into the overall story. So I'll be a little generous with it, but it's a 6 out of 10. It's not very good. It's not very good. Not to me anyway. But I am very curious to see what you guys, how y'all felt about it. So let's, hold on, give me a sec. Let me scroll up, see where y'all are at. Okay. Okay. 4, 6.5, 0. All right. 7, 6, 5, 1, 6, 6. Woo! 2.5, 6.5, 7, 1, 6, 7, 8, 6.5, 6.5, 6.25, 7, 6, 5.5, a 9. Wow. Okay. 6.5, 7, 6, 8, 4, 6. Oh, wait, there we go. 6, 2, 6, 5.5. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Like, hey, people have spoken. You know, it is what it is. Baby, yes, of course. Come on now. Of course we're gonna talk about it on Friday. We'll talk about it on Friday for sure. Yes, we will absolutely talk about that for sure. Oh, hold on. I got one more thing here. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much to Low Key. Y'all, she is keeping this whole thing ad-free. Sending some love right back to you. Thank you for the $15 Cash App. I really do appreciate you, and I appreciate you supporting the channel the way that you do. Yes, so that's it, guys. Next episode we will be getting we'll be talking about episode 4. We'll see what happens with that. But like I said, I mean, this is not a strong start for the entire franchise. It's okay. But I can't say that it's like the most encouraging at this point. But like I mentioned before, those 3 questions, I'm still interested in finding out more. We'll see if this can stick the landing. We'll see if this can pick up a little bit later. But I guess all we could do is hope for the best. We'll see. Anyway, make sure you tune in next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be back here. We'll talk about episode 4. And then, of course, tune in this Friday. Yes, we will talk about Blade. Yes, we're going to talk about everything else that has gone through the week. In case you don't know, feel free to follow me on all the socials. I post there as well. But guys, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Let's go see Boston whoop on the Mavericks real quick. But make sure you have a great week. I will see you guys hopefully very soon on Friday. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Till next time, wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. Peace.